Good evening, I'm Andrew Turner and welcome to the very last edition of Newsbite. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, looking back at the highlights from the past 19 months. One of the things to emerge from the recent SHG media review on St Helena was that local television was not to be subsidised. The conclusion was that it needed to be able to pay for itself. There is currently no other way for SAMS to fund the show by itself, but if this changes, you'll be the first to know. Newsbite hasn't just been a source of visual news for people on Ireland. Through YouTube, it also served as a window for the outside world to see what life was like on one of the most remote places on Earth. Clocking up nearly 345,000 views, our YouTube channel has been watched from 226 places around the world, with the highest amount of views coming from the UK and the US, followed by South Africa, and the lowest from the Cook Islands and Uzbekistan. People around the world have now watched Newsbite for over 1 million minutes. That's an average of 219 hours each week. The most watched video has been the arrival of the RMS 737-800, which has been watched 183,000 times. Now, as promised earlier, here is a video reel of some of the top stories that were brought to you via Newsbite.
Tuesday the 15th of September was a day for the St Helena history books, with the first ever aeroplane set to land on Ireland. The small aircraft came into sight at about 25 to 1, and after two flybys finally touched down at 1:50 p.m. at the St Helena airport, much to the excitement of all in attendance.
From the sidelines, it seemed a smooth landing. The conditions were considerably better than for the last calibration flight, and onlookers could see the plane well before it came into land.
Well, first of all, the arrival into St Helena was actually quite magnificent. A fantastic view of the island, there's good weather conditions apart from the wind. And we had always planned on our arrival to first have a look at the conditions before we actually land. So the first fly past was planned as such. We didn't put the wheels down, as you probably noticed. We just flew over the runway to assess the conditions. The second approach, we really wanted to see exactly what the conditions were under the approach on that specific runway, and a little bit worse than we expected. The aircraft has what we call a wind shear warning system in it, so that gave us the warning, and that normally necessitates a go around anyway. So we went around after the second one, and then we knew exactly what the situation was, what to expect on the third approach, and obviously that was successful.
So the second approach was actually an aborted attempt, was it then?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
Everyone who saw the first ever Boeing jet land on St Helena in April could tell that not everything was right. In dramatic scenes, the plane had to abort its first landing attempt. On the second try, still wobbling in the wind, it managed to touch down. Now Lord Ashcroft has waded into the debate. In an article published online, the influential Conservative peer says that he had to abandon his flight to the island because it was too unsafe. Statements from Ashcroft's pilot that he could not remember any other airport he was so concerned about raised serious doubts about the safety of landing on St Helena. Understandably, this story was picked up in the British press. Basing their reporting on Lord Ashcroft's article, the Daily Mail highlighted that the airport has been built with money from UK taxpayers. The St Helena government did not want to talk about the article. Now it remains to be seen what will happen. Lord Ashcroft is very influential in the UK, and it is likely that his article will be picked up by other media in Britain. People were jubilant in April when the Comair plane landed, but now a whole island is holding its breath, waiting for the next plane. But will it ever arrive? Lord Ashcroft's pilot is not quite sure.
On Friday the 21st of October, crowds gathered in and around the airport, eagerly awaiting for Atlantic Star to land an Avro RJ-100 aircraft. This is the largest plane to land on the runway since Comair's Boeing 737-800 back in April of this year. Piloted by two Faroe Island pilots, the plane came into sight a little after 3:45 p.m. and touched down on runway 02, characterised as having a tailwind, with seemingly no trouble at all. The majority of the passengers disembarked the aircraft before it set off again, this time to attempt a landing on runway 20, which suffers from wind shear. Again, the Faroe Island pilots pulled it off with very little trouble, landing with plenty of runway to spare.
Why have we brought the RJ down here? Well, the reason is because we think right now for landing on runway 02 it's the right aeroplane for the job. And very fortunately for us, we've got Mr. Adrian Nosquith from Tronos Leasing, who happens to have an RJ that we can use.
The third large passenger plane landed at St Helena Airport on Wednesday the 30th of November. The flight, an Embraer ERJ-190-100, flew from Recife in Brazil and is operated by Embraer Commercial Aviation. The aircraft touched down at around 3:40 p.m. carrying a small crew. While on the island, the team undertook various takeoffs, landings and circuits and collect information that will provide the airport with additional real-time data and a pilot's report.
It was the beginning of the end. The WAS inquiry came to St Helena and they were based in this building here behind me on Main Street. In March, Sasha WAS had a strong message for anyone listening.
We've come here for a relatively short period of time. We're going to be here for 2 weeks, and I've made it clear that if we need to come back, we will come back. But we want during this 2-week period to speak to as many people as possible, whether it's people involved in child welfare and looking after the vulnerable, or indeed people who have had horrific experiences.
Now, 9 months later, the inquiry have finally released their 300-page report, which finds no evidence of child abuse as endemic on St Helena and equally dismisses the idea of a cover-up. But the document is still full of startling revelations. A chapter dedicated to the governor shows his disregard for the democratic process on the island.
I accordingly declare Herr Michael Olsen to have been duly elected to serve as a member of the Legislative Council for St Helena.
Olsen was congratulated by his friends and supporters and the election and government officials. He gained 2/3 of the 326 votes that had been cast, propelling him into council. So you got about 2/3 of the vote here today. Yeah. How do you feel? Do you want to thank your supporters at all?
Yes, of course. I thank my supporters and everybody who voted for me. But a bigger turnout would have been nice, of course.
So what's next for you?
I just had somebody whispering in my ear that the first thing to do, of course, I'm not a councillor yet. I'm not sworn in as councillor. That will be 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
So that's a ceremony here at the castle with the acting governor?
Yeah, with the acting governor. If it is a ceremony as such, I don't know. Somebody will take a photograph, I guess. It's not a big deal.
So after that, the first thing you're going to do as a councillor, any ideas yet?
I think it's perfect because we got the Easter weekend. So I will be back to you on that one next week.
Coming in on the Gannet with the other passengers, the new governor stepped ashore, helped by Craig Young and Robert Birdwell. She was greeted by Sean Burns, who has been filling the governor's chair since Mark Capes left. Then a short walk up the steps to meet the councillors, most of whom had lined up early in the morning to see her in.
I, Lisa Phillips, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, so help me God. I, Lisa Phillips, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors in the office of Governor, in accordance with the Constitution and other laws of St Helena Ascension and Tristan da Cunha, and with due regard to the customs of St Helena Ascension and Tristan da Cunha, so help me God.
The result of the polling for the by-election 2016 is as follows. Beard, Clint Richard, 125 votes. Buckley, Cruyff Gerard, 170 votes. Green, Anthony Arthur, 138 votes. I accordingly declare Cruyff Gerard Buckley to have been duly elected to serve as a member of the Legislative Council for St Helena.
We're here at the Governor's office. First time I guess you've ever experienced, taking part in a by-election and a counting of votes. I mean, how does it feel to know that 433 people came out to vote today, and out of those, 170 voted for you to become a councillor?
I'm truly overwhelmed, Damien. I truly am overwhelmed by the amount of love and support St Helena has showed me in this election. It really goes, there's a lot of spirit out there, and there's a lot of unity. And those 433 people that turned out, they are the people that are going to make a difference in this island. They are the ones that are going to make this island a better place.
All right, Cruyff, like we said, you will be officially made a councillor tomorrow morning. Looking forward to the new challenge ahead?
Definitely, Damien. Every journey starts with the first step, and no matter how small, this is the first step.
The vessel rounded Sugarloaf Point just after 8 a.m. and steamed steadily towards the moorings in James Bay, escorted by boats from the local fleet. Friends and family were on board Enchanted Isle and Helena Dorothy, and new sports fishing vessel, Egality, also formed a part of the escort. Family and friends boarded the vessel after it had been cleared by customs and port authorities. The crew and other parties then attended a reception at the yacht club. Peter, 9 days travelling back from South Africa with your new boat, FV Amalia. How does it feel to be back on St Helena?
It feels good to be home after 6 days and nights we had really bad sea conditions. But we never take 9 days, take 8 days.
8 days?
8 days, yeah.
No worries. And so Peter, new boat, Amalia, deep sea fishing. What do you hope to achieve from having this new boat?
Well, we're hoping to go out there and get some fish and keep the fishing industry alive.
Yeah.
It was failing big time, but now we got offshore boats, so hopefully we keep that alive.
All right. And the purchase of the boat leg, like you said, you took 8 days. Average speed traveling to St Helena?
8 to 10 knots, between 8 to 10 knots, yeah.
Okay. And I think I spoke to Errol Thomas before, you engineer on board leg. 7 tons of fuel, is that correct?
We use 7 tons of fuel, about 700 litres a day, yeah.
Yeah?
That's with the main engine and the generator. Yeah.
All right. And now you're back on St Helena, and like you said, you want to go deep sea fishing. How much fish, if you in one trip, could you bring back to St Helena after a visit to the Seamounts?
Well, the boat can carry between 25 to 30 tons of fish.
Yeah.
But we don't know what we catch out there.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. And you're gonna be forming a part now with you got swordfish going out as well, the John Mallis and everything else. How do you see that working for St Helena in the future?
Really good. We got 4 boats. If anybody got problems, we can have somebody to help bring it back in again.
Yep.
It's good. I'd like to see more than 4 boats anyway. I'd like to see more, yeah.
All right. Peter, thank you very much, and good luck with your future fishing.
Thanks very much.
She arrived in the UK on Sunday the 5th of June and headed for Tilbury Docks, where she was unloaded before making its way up the Thames and through Tower Bridge. Crowds had gathered to watch this historic moment, with many posting minute-by-minute updates on social media sites.
The RMS passed through Tower Bridge at 5 p.m. UK time, sounding a horn on the way through. She was then moored next to HMS Belfast, where she played host to a number of events promoting St Helena. Celebrity chef Matt Gillen had the opportunity to come on board, and there were many guests, including Princess Anne.
The vessel came into the wharf's stern first to enable them to use the full outreach of the cranes to lift the 60-ton piece of plant. At 8:05 a.m., the vessel made contact with the protective fenders on the side of the wharf, and the 7-man crew on board and the stevedores on the shore secured the ship with ropes by 8:15 a.m.
The ship was originally meant to retire at the end of its current trip to Cape Town, but now an extension until the 1st of July 2017 has been announced. What this means for the airport is not clear. However, the government said that scheduled flights were always planned to overlap with the ship. Whether this overlap is still on the cards, however, is not clear yet.
video posted on YouTube by SHG's Public Relations Office showing Jonathan the tortoise having a bath has gone viral. Clocking up just under 650,000 views in a week, the video shows vet Joe Hollands scrubbing the tortoise's 180-year-old shell. Many comments have been posted under the video on YouTube, including, "What an honour it must be to wash such a magnificent animal," "This is so fascinating, I love how peaceful tortoises are." Others joked, saying, "I wonder if they use turtle wax." The video features the vet describing the experience.
For a vet to be looking after the oldest known living land animal in the world, what an honour. What an amazing thing, you know. I'm in my profession because I love animals. And I've got here the oldest known living land animal in the world and I'm looking after it. Isn't that amazing?